Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Pele Yoetz. Today we're talking about a very interesting topic, and that's reincarnation. And you hear these stories from time to time. The rabbis have told them to us. We read about them from the sages and from the holy works, and they really do make your hair stand up because when you hear about what is the penalty for some of the things that we so easily transgress. It really is scary. So, this is going to be one of those chapters that we're really going, I think we're really, I don't know how you can't take a sobering look at yourself after you read this chapter, but we're going to get right into it. And it says that the belief in reincarnation will awaken a man who wants to take to heart the fear of God and the fear of punishment. One should reflect on the many pains of the wicked, and that the agony of reincarnation through inanimate plant, animal, and human stages is more bitter than death and all the suffering of Gehinnom. A person goes from one evil to the next through stages of reincarnation, as explained in the works of the Kabbalists, even for sins that appear insignificant and that many people have trampled upon. For example, one who speaks Lashon Hara is reincarnated as a barking dog. The allusion to this is in Devarim 32:42. And Novak, learning the barking dog, called La. And the letters Lamed Hey stand for Lashon Hara. And it says that one who looks at illicit things is reincarnated as a bird, a Ra'ah, which literally means gazer, which is unfaithful by looking at others. And the allusion to this is in Bamidbar 15:39. And it says, and you shall not go searching after your heart and your eyes, which you are wont to go astray after them. So it says, the Arizal once saw the soul of a pious man, which was reincarnated as a goat because he had once had marital relations in a room with a lit candle and caused his children to be handicapped. So it says there are many other forms of similar reincarnation as described by the Kabbalists. A man's hair should stand on end, and that he should hasten his refuge while he's still alive, before the sun darkens, and his regret will be of no avail. For then his soul will tremble and scream from its pangs. It is so bitter for the soul to be reincarnated in the inanimate plant, domesticated or wild bird, kosher or non-kosher fish, or insect form. So now this is where it gets very interesting, because it says, even though he has no recollection of his former self when he is reincarnated as a human form, in the inanimate plant or animal form, he remembers that he was a great prince, and his current condition is demoralizing and a source of personal mourning. So it's funny, it's like we're left with this essence of our higher self, but it's as if we've woken up with amnesia. It's really, really difficult. If you really, take a deep introspection, this is really a difficult thing, the fact that we've gone through these giggling, because, we are fixing things we can't quite remember, but we know that we have to really go with all our heart and our soul to find out what it is that we're trying to fix. And the best way to do that is through the mitzvot, and HaShem really does guide you on the way and the path that you need to be on, through what you're seeing and what you're hearing. Everything he puts in front of you is all designed to bring you to that level of tshuva, and to make the tikkun that we so desperately need to make. We need to fix all the things that needs to be repaired. We need to elevate those sparks back to their original state of spirituality. And that really is the tafkid of every Jew, that we are taking that physical and we're transforming it into the spiritual, and thus making Olam Haba here where we are. So we're going to continue on. It says, it's already written in the holy works, and with our own ears have we heard. Well, some stories of different reincarnations that were given permission to make revelation to the living in dreams, and this is true. We have heard about people who've either, that they see parts of their past life, and it says, especially to the Arizal, who experienced divinely inspired visions and saw tens of thousands of spirits who cried and begged him to provide some rest for their souls. Things such as these, a living man should take to heart and imagine that they happen to him, and he must prepare his safe haven to the utmost of his ability, and then he will be redeemed. It says, additionally, as a result of the belief in reincarnation, a person needs to be concerned lest that in his prior existence he increased impurity and guilt, and he has a responsibility to rectify everything that he corrupted. So therefore he must strive to do many mitzvot, good deeds, self-affliction, fast, and refinements. Even if the entire world tells him that he's a righteous man, and he knows that his works are pure and upright, he should be in his own eyes like a wicked man. Well known is the statement our sages in Nida 30a. That is what they say to a person when he emerges from his mother's womb. This is a very true thing. I think, sometimes we ask, why do the good suffer? We don't know. And the statement I'm about to make doesn't mean that somebody was a wicked person in past life. We don't know what went on because we don't remember. So sometimes we see, we ask, why did a child die? Why did this good person have nothing but problems? I feel like, I often say that, listen, I wouldn't say that I am a tzedeket, okay? I wouldn't call myself like holier than thou. I wouldn't say that I was like such a horrible person either, but the thing is, what is the true scale? You know what I mean? What's the measures? And that's how we learn that through the Torah. That's how we know. But the thing is, I don't know exactly all the wrong that I've done in a previous life. So I can't call myself a tzedeket. I cannot, 100% for sure, I cannot tell you that I was perfect in all my gilguls and I can, and all this suffering is unjust. Chas v'shalom. I mean, HaShem is perfect in everything he does. And I think, this is the reason why we hear so much that, we really need to stay silent when we don't understand something. And try, I think we have to try. I think it's incumbent upon all of us to try to understand as best as we can through reading and studying these subjects. So it says that one of the reasons is because of reincarnation. A man does not know what preceded him or transpired during earlier reincarnations, and certainly not in our generation, since the Kabbalists already revealed to us that the majority of people today are reincarnations. Few are the souls that are coming for the first time. So this is very true. I've heard this time and time again. They really do not feel that there are any new souls in this world. So we've all been here at one point. So it says, for this reason it is befitting that we should be humbled, for we have fallen very low. No one knows who we really are today and what within us needs to be corrected. Unlike the situation in previous eras during the time of the Arizal, therefore, it is proper for a person to do as much as possible and to always be in his own eyes as a sinner. Wouldn't that have been great to have lived in the time of the Arizal? That you could have just gone up to him and he would have told you exactly what it is that you need to fix. But unfortunately, we don't have that today. So, the advice here is that we do the mitzvot as much as possible. And of course, we know that we're here, I hate to say it, for mitzvot, Torah, and Yisurim. And that's how we gain our olam haba. So it says, perhaps he may find favor. So it says, even though there is no one among us who knows or recognizes the former reincarnation, one thing we do know from the Zohar HaKadosh in Bereshit 92a, someone who dies without children, present party excluded, and his wife performs levirate marriage, she marries the brother for his of her deceased husband. The firstborn son who she bears possesses the soul of the deceased. So this is one thing we do know. So if a couple is childless and the husband dies, and she goes and marries the brother, as is the custom, that first son, the firstborn son that she bears, 100% we know that's the reincarnation of the husband that passed away. So in this case, they can help the child because they would know exactly, they would know exactly what the character traits were of the husband that passed away. So in this case, it can be very helpful. So it says, brother becomes a father, and his wife becomes a mother. And it is proper for his father and acquaintances of deceased to inform him of his prior shortcomings, which were known to them, in order that the son should rectify everything that he can. So that is one good situation where we really know we can help that child. And of course, if you didn't know already, again, we are all here to do a tikkun, and we know this because the word tikkun and tinuk have the same Hebrew letters, and we know everything that shares the same letters they are connected. So every baby is born to do a tikkun. Unfortunately for these babies, we know exactly what the tikkun will be. So it says, furthermore, as a result of the belief in reincarnation, a person will know that the judgment of God is true. The rock whose action is perfect, because all of his paths are just, and a man will not complain about divine treatment, as is the custom of several ignoramuses. We do hear this a lot. Like, I think I've been party to that several ignoramuses on an occasion or two. So it says, when they experience terrible suffering, they open their mouths toward heaven and they say, Master of the universe, right? Ribono shel olam. What is my wrongdoing? What is my sin? Have my sins and wrongdoings overtaken the entire world? What are you doing this to your servant? Like, raise your hand if you've uttered that sentence. If I could put both my hands up, I would. So again, I've certainly been party to that ignorant statement. I don't know how many times I've thought, how bad could I have been, right? I said it in the earlier opening of this shir. So it says, would only that they would be wise and understand Devarim 32, the rock whose action is perfect because all of his paths are just, the God of trust who bears no injustice. He is righteous and upright, right? Because Hashem makes no mistakes. Hashem does really know everything, and he is very precise in his exacting what it is that we need to fix, which is hence the reason why we go through the situations we go through. So again, when we don't understand something, I think it's just wise for us to keep silent and try to gather up the information that we can, both through the text and through what we're experiencing, to kind of piece them together and try to get some understanding in order that we can make that tshuva and really come back in repentance. Because he is righteous and upright. It says he gives to a man according to his ways and the fruit of his actions. He is a master of all his deeds. So this is very true. If you're a person who influenced people to do good, it's not just the fact that you did it. The fruit of that action, when a person changes his way every time, that goes to your account. And also, it is also true in reverse, where if you are somebody who influences people to do wrong, then the fruit of those actions will also go to your account. Has v'shalom. We are constantly getting exactly what we deserve in actuality. So it says, he is the master of all deeds. If in the stage of reincarnation his actions are pure and upright, the suffering that he endures is for his previous reincarnation. So again, I made this statement. Why do the good suffer? And sometimes this is the reason behind it. We don't know what was happening in the past life. That doesn't mean, we should immediately go and say, you must have been a really wicked person in the past life. We don't know. Hashem is the only one that knows. We don't know. But the truth that we do know is that none of us can say that we were so righteous all the time ever. We don't know. So it says, the Kabbalist revealed that the torment of Yov, who was perfect and upright and God-fearing and avoiding all wrongdoing, was the result of a prior incarnation, where he was Terach, the father of Abraham. This also provides an explanation for the great sufferings of his small children who were barely weaned and the death of the young people. For the sins of the youth, God decrees that one's wife should give birth to a soul which is obligated for the death penalty in order to rectify those wrongdoings. Tangentially, he and his wife find their redemption in their grief for his death. Also, due to the reincarnation, matters of marriage partners and death are determined. Everything is from the amazing wisdom of the omniscient being, perfected and measured, weighed in volume. So everything, again, not only is it measure, but it is exact. So it says that when one reads in the works of the Kabbalists who describe the matters of reincarnation, he will see with his eyes, his heart, and he will understand. He will say, how great are your actions, O Hashem, and how amazing is your love for us, as you have designed the world so that no soul is totally lost. May the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu be exalted and above all blessings and praise. Amen v'amen. So again, very interesting stuff. We hear this over and over again. And the following chapter that we're going to get into, we're we're going to be talking about temporal existence and converts, another very interesting chapter. Again, also having to do with previous lives and reincarnations. Very interesting. I think that we think that, sometimes we tend to judge HaShem unfavorably, even though we're constantly asking him to judge us favorably, in that we are constantly questioning, myself included, first one in line. We're constantly questioning his decisions over our lives. It is well worth it to take a look into, when we see something reoccurring, perhaps Hashem is trying to tell us something, and we're here as a human being, let's try to fix it. Has v'shalom, you should be reincarnated into something as an inanimate object, like a rock, or that you're a plant. Let's do the hard work here. Let's do it now. As we all know, time is running out. So let's do it while the sun is still shining, and we still have time. And that's it for today. And I hope we'll all be together again soon. Bezrat HaShem.